Today we're at my computer to watch a fake accent coach working with a student. This is a hilarious scene from the movie The Pink Panther. Not really to be taken seriously, but what can we learn about accent coaching by watching this?
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
Okay, right away I have a little bit of beef, and that is she's said it once, he repeated it not very accurately, and then she exaggerated. I would like to buy a hamburger. So that's not actually natural English. I can't stand it when people are coaching students in a way that's not natural. No one wants to learn unnatural English. They want to learn natural conversational English. Let's keep going. Let's go over two phrases I used here. I said I had beef. What the heck does it mean to have beef? Beef is the meat that comes from a cow, but we also use it idiomatically to say I have a complaint or a problem with someone or the way someone's doing something. Like here, the way the accent coach is working. I basically said this again in another way when I said, I can't stand it. It bothers me. I have a problem with it. I think something is wrong with it. I have beef with it.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
No. Let's break it down. I.
Okay, now I do love breaking it down. This is something I do with my students all the time. Sometimes a full sentence is too much. There's too much going on. Melody, rhythm, sounds, linking, reductions. I actually love breaking up longer sentences into smaller chunks.
I. Would.
Would.
Okay, so she's breaking it down and she's just saying a single word, having him repeat it, but she's not giving him any feedback when he's not doing it well. And she's also not really doing it enough times for him to repeat it back in a better way. So I have an online school, Rachel's English Academy, where we do accent training with our students, and the transformation they make is incredible. When my students use the play it, say it method in the academy, they may play it and say it 15 times in a row. Now here's what's incredible about that. When you play it and say it, their ear does something, the mind connection works, and they end up tweaking their mouth position to make a sound that's usually completely accurate by the end of their repetitions. And they do that by themselves without me telling them what to change or tweak. They figure it out as they go, as their ear matches the sound. And I love watching this happen because it empowers the students. They realize with this method and this material, they can improve all on their own without having an accent coach there.
Weird.
Would.
Weird.
Would.
You know what I'm going to say again. Would. That's not how anybody says that word, so let's not teach our students that that's how we say a word. Now, another thing that's important that she's not doing that I always do with my students in the academy is also give information. It's not just about listening and repeating with adult students. Adult students need some information, some insight into the anatomy and how we produce certain sounds. So if you're studying with me in my academy, you get a video that goes over the concept, so you get it intellectually with your head, then you move into the audio for the training session.
Like. To.
Toi.
To.
Toi.
To.
Toi.
By.
Be.
By.
I love everything about this. I love Steve Martin. Now, like we said, this is a comedy. This woman isn't actually trying to be an accent coach. It's a spoof. What's a spoof? It's an imitation of something, generally in a way that exaggerates some of the characteristics. The other really important thing to talk about here is the character wants to sound completely American to blend in for his job. He has a French accent, and the one thing I want to make sure I say explicitly is that there's nothing wrong with having an accent. Sometimes as an accent coach, I feel like I get pigeonholed as somebody who thinks we all need to sound the same. Totally not true. I feel like I exist for my students to help them meet their goals, whatever their goals are. Accents themselves are completely beautiful. I used an interesting phrase here, pigeonhole. Have you heard this phrase before? A pigeon is a common city bird. A pigeonhole did originally mean a small space for a pigeon. Now it refers to a set of small compartments for sorting letters or papers. As a verb, the way I used it, it means to assign a particular category or class to something, especially in a manner that's too narrow. Let's say you're an aspiring chef. You've worked in 3 seafood restaurants. You're looking for a new job and you've decided the restaurant definitely won't be a seafood restaurant because you don't want to get pigeonholed. You want to be known to excel at various cuisines, not just seafood. Or an actor wants to make sure he doesn't get pigeonholed for playing the same kind of part all the time. He wants to be hired for all different kinds of roles. I said, as an accent coach, don't pigeonhole me as someone who thinks everyone should lose their accent. Some of my students have that goal, and I want to help them reach that. But other students love their accent, but want to have more ease with spoken communication. And I think that's great.
Bye.
B.
Bye.
B.
Bye.
B. B.
A.
A.
Hamburger.
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 Oh my gosh, I love so much how he says this word.
Hamburger.
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 So one thing to note for my French students, the H in English is sometimes silent, but usually not. Like in the word hamburger, we have that little escape of air sound, hamburger. Why is it pronounced in hamburger, but silent in hour and honor? I don't know, but usually it's pronounced.
Ham.
M.
Bur.
B.
Gur.
Gar.
M. Okay, another thing, I always try to make sure that my students become aware if they are bringing in a physical gesture. So for example, with the word hamburger, ham, he says M. M. And I would want to make sure my students recognized if they were doing that so that they could stop doing it. Sometimes students will bring in extra movement here with the lips a lot. That's just going to be more work and it's going to be harder to relax with that. So I always try to get my students to notice these extra movements and to take them out. It's just going to lead to a more natural, comfortable English.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
It's not Damburger, hamburger.
I'm not saying dimburger. I said I would like to buy a hamburger.
Okay, one other thing. In spoken English, so often we use contractions. That would be much more natural in spoken English. I would like to buy a hamburger. Well, that phrase itself, not very natural. I'd like to buy a hamburger, sure. But what's even more common? I'll have a hamburger, or I'd like a hamburger, or I'll take a hamburger. All of these are a more natural way to say this phrase.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
Okay, so there comes a certain point where the method isn't working. At this point, I would always stop with a student and try a different approach. You can always find something that's going to get a little progress one way or another. And if what you're trying to do isn't working, especially if it's starting to lead to you shouting or some extra tension, just drop it, forget it, leave it for a minute, and then come back to it, maybe with a slightly different approach, or start working on something totally different, a different phrase. In conclusion, if you want to reduce your accent, there are methods. Listen and repeat. And as an adult, being told the specifics of a certain topic, like a mouth position or the for reduction, studying them, and then working repetitiously with audio. And if you can get feedback from a teacher, great. Obviously, that helps too. Actually, all of these things are available in my academy. I'm Rachel Smith. I've been teaching English here on YouTube for 13 years, and I've worked with many students who have wanted to reduce their accent. Through working with them, I've developed my method, a little different from what you saw here, and I put all of my best ideas in my academy, Rachel's English Academy. So check it out if you think you might want to work on your accent. As a side note, you're also improving your listening comprehension as you work through the materials in the Academy. If you want to know more, check out this video about the Academy or go to rachelsenglishacademy.com. You'll get access to the method, the materials, and teachers to help guide you. It's a subscription, but you can cancel at any time. And if you're unhappy with it, just ask for a refund in your first 30 days and we'll give it to you and thank you for having given us a chance. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. You can keep your learning going right now with this video, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications. I make new videos on the English language every week, and I'd love to see you back here. That's it, and thanks so much for using Rachel's English.